Hello, welcome to the July 2021 Q&A. I'm joined by Brad, Huber, Blood in the back, Damiani running the controls. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Just
can't complain.
Being annoyed at Windows as usual.
Yep. You want to know who wrote in our first question?
Alexander
Alexander's
Oh,
here
he got it. I thought he was worried about that.
He writes, "Hello, allies. During the previous 15 Q&As, which is a maximum 4-bit number, I was able to secure the first spot in the previous 15 Q&As. So I wanted to ask you, have you ever set a goal for yourself that was completely meaningless and took unreasonable amount of effort to fulfill?"
I have a current story about this, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So yeah, I found a decent route to walk in my neighborhood. So like I kind of just enjoy myself, and I don't feel like I'm dodging people or cars or bad smells or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then I started noticing some nights, I'm like, oh, I see rabbits. And so now I've just gotten into like doing a rabbit census every time I take my walk.
Nice.
Most nights there are 7 rabbits. I've gotten a maximum of 10 rabbits.
Nice.
And there are also bats. So that's
That's
fun.
pretty cool.
That's cool.
Do you have names for the rabbits?
No.
Okay.
My grandpa's been watching the rabbits. My grandpa's staying at my parents' house, Blood.
Oh yeah?
And there's just like we have a little window in the living room and some rabbits go by. He's been all about it. Just mentioned the other day.
I can't think of any habit where I'm like super going out of my way to do. That was the question, right? That were like unreasonable. I can't think of anything like that. One habit I'm trying to be better about is using lotion. I'm very bad about that, and Kristen gets mad at me all the time. So I'm working on it.
Use it.
Like,
Protect your skin.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like face moisturizing.
Oh,
I have
sure.
only ever done that if I've had a problem.
Unreasonable goal. I wanted to finish every single mainline Final Fantasy, so I bought them all, and I didn't get through the first one. So yeah.
Well, guess
Sure,
what,
I have
Hubert?
to.
There it is.
Tomorrow you can try again and
Oh,
buy
the
the
collection.
Pixel Remasters
Oh,
for the
right.
first 3.
Oh.
All right.
This is stretching the question just a little bit, but my wife and I are playing Skyward Sword together,
Nice.
and she's getting really annoyed that I'm cutting all the grass.
Uh-oh.
She's like, "Stop cutting the grass."
Stop
Like,
cutting
there's
the grass.
rupees in there.
She doesn't get it.
She thinks I'm going a little nuts on the grass cutting, so I've had to curb that.
I definitely have that sense in games where, like you're saying, that struggle back and forth where it's like, oh yeah, if I smash these things, I'll get stuff. But at the
Right.
same time, it's like, I'm going to make the world look like garbage.
Right? Yeah. I just don't even think about it. You know, it's like instinctual.
I see grass, I chop.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a lifetime of muscle memory there almost.
Definitely.
Yeah. One thing I could think of is I wanted to get a platinum trophy on a game before it came out because we get to review games. It's like the most meaningless thing you could think
Yeah.
of.
Was
It's like-
it Valkyrie Chronicles?
Yeah, it was about Chronicles 4.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
like, yeah, I finally did it after like 10 years. I got
Hell
like
yeah,
100%. Like, review was out there. Like, we did it. It's like, I don't need to keep playing this game. But it's like, sure, I'm going to keep going. And like, wow, who cares?
Just had to chase it.
Chad, how does salad mic sound? We got Dami
Salad
on mic
mic.
arm over there.
Yeah, a proper mic arm now.
Yeah, I
Salad
got
check.
a mic arm, so I have to lean in anymore.
Man, there are times I want to platinum games,
I don't
And-
go for platinums.
and then I just can't because I have to move on to the next thing,
Yeah.
and then I want to come back to it, and then I forget, and it just gets lost. Like Dragon Quest XI was one that I really
Oh,
wanted
gosh,
to platinum,
Yeah.
and I just
I got pretty far on that.
yeah, I did too. I got quite a few of the trophies. And
I mean, they might as well give you a platinum for finishing that game, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, even going back to 8, right? And I loved playing through 8. But once I got to the end of the main story, and then they're like, hey, here's all this other stuff
Oh,
that you
right,
can do.
the
I'm
other
like,
dungeon.
you know what? Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's so much.
I probably have like
That just gets hard.
I probably have like 50 games where I'm like 2 trophies away from a platinum. It's like, nope, don't want it. Want to move on. Want to play more games.
Yeah. That's the struggle for sure.
So I feel that, but sometimes I would have more fun playing that game and getting the platinum than I would playing a different game
True that.
because I love the game so much.
Yeah, it's a very case by case basis.
Just
for
eating
me.
it up.
Bloodborne plat. Best plat.
Bloodborne was fun to plat. And not that bad, honestly. Bloodborne was fairly
Beat
chill.
it 3 times or 4 for that one.
Probably 3.
You didn't even have to
No, you
beat
yeah,
it
you
many times.
could
You can
cheese it with the
cheese
save.
it and then-
Mm.
I didn't cheese it. I didn't know you could cheese it.
From Fable.
DRD7 of 14 writes, "Hello, allies. I was thinking about Abandoned and how their app will let PS5 players experience the game, where the trailers exhibit DualSense features via the trailers. Didn't do a word count on this, but remember, 200 words, people.
200 words.
Why doesn't Sony do this with all trailers? Or better yet, why doesn't Twitch? Being able to feel the vibration/haptics, maybe even the adaptive triggers if they're clever about it, sounds like a fine way to sell users on a game. PS does their best with the trailers, but it's really not the same. That got me thinking even more and thought that this would be something VR would benefit from as well with streaming if users could be in VR in the player's view with comfort options so as to not cause motion sickness for those that need it. Even a spectator option would be nice where you could be in the world. With the rumored/leaked PSVR 2 headset having some form of haptic feedback, this sort of streamer-to-viewer experience would be an awesome way to demo VR and immersive features that don't come across enough with traditional video/sound trailer experience. Anywho, just curious on your thoughts and how you all would implement features like this for PS5, VR, other consoles, etc.
Someone said they're now teasing MGS. It's just a dude with an eye patch. Not confirmed.
It does look suspiciously like
this,
Solidus.
I know.
Yeah.
This story just keeps getting
Solidus,
so
dude.
weird. Like, they didn't like being compared to Kojima, and then now they release a blurry image of a dude with an eye
Yeah,
patch.
what are they doing? And then haptics in their trailer. It's like that's something Kojima
Yeah.
would totally do.
Yeah.
Come on, what's going
It's
on?
so weird. It's so weird.
But in terms of the question, like putting a VR spectator mode, I guess, is just, and like having it connect with Twitch, it just seems like a lot of work to do it well. And I don't think if people are comfortable doing that yet. I don't think we've gotten to the point yet where someone's actually nailed a concept like that.
I also think VR is a weird thing to experience if you're not in control.
Exactly. It's
That's
so,
where
like,
motion sickness comes in.
like the idea of sitting at a screen or having a headset actually on your head is like night and day. And I think maybe just putting you in the world in a VR game isn't enough to actually get that across.
I don't even like trailers, so it's not for me. Like this whole Abandoned thing, I'm not even. It's too much effort. Like I'm not downloading something to watch a trailer. I don't want your I don't want your spoilers. I don't want your gimmicks. Like I'm just not here for it. I'm not into it.
It's
at
funny
all.
because there have been all these stories, but then I didn't hear that the app had actually finally come out. I had heard it got delayed. So
Yeah.
it's funny. It's like, oh, that's out now. That's
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah, no thanks.
I don't know. I think there's definitely potential to mess with feedback and viewer experiences and stuff, but it is tricky because the question kind of talked about streamers and like seeing things from their perspective, and it's like
No, it's not out. Okay.
a lot of times when I watch Twitch streams, I do it like as I'm laying in bed, like going to sleep or like taking a break from something or whatever. And sometimes it's an all-day event, like a fighting game tournament or like Games Done Quick or something, and it's like I just don't want to have something on my head for that long.
Yeah.
And so
Ooh, yeah.
it depends on what it is, and obviously you can tailor the experience to it, but I think when it comes to like trailers and Twitch and viewing and stuff like that, sometimes it's nice to just have something to chill out to. Like sometimes I even like will wind down and just watch movie trailers, right? So I don't always want everything to be high intensity all the time, and so I think you got to be careful there.
But yeah, I guess the idea though is just like being able to demo the haptics. I think it's just something that we might, just like with traditional Rumble, we're gonna get used to after a while. Like people are experimenting now. We kind of have things that we haven't felt before in games, and some things annoy people that don't annoy others, like the footsteps in Ratchet, and so it's I think it's just a matter of as we get used to these experiences, it's gonna be less of a thing. But I think it is interesting it's an interesting way for people to show off that new technology. To just just put out a brief little demo or app or something that shows what you're doing, what sensations you're creating here.
Man, it's crazy because I remember in the N64 days, I like kind of freaked out about Rumble. I thought it was so cool.
Oh,
playing
yeah.
it.
Oh,
Coolest
yeah.
shit ever, dude.
Yeah, Star Fox 64 and
GoldenEye.
Yeah, GoldenEye. It was a big deal to me. And to say I don't feel it at all now is not true, but like it's almost true. Like there are so many times I'm playing a game and it's like my brain isn't even registering that the
Right.
controller's vibrating. My body's just so used to that sensation. that it's really not a big deal. And so the point is, it's just interesting to see how things like that get adapted and become commonplace over time.
No doubt.
Next question comes in from Mike Hook. Hey, guys. This new generation of systems feels less impactful than any other that came before it. The PC and handheld market is killing it. Last gen is still alive. More competition is coming in. Game Pass, xCloud, and cloud gaming is big on mobile/tablets. We're about to hit a renaissance where the gamers are going to be scattered on multiple different systems and devices. This is definitely the right direction for the industry. How do you feel about gaming going in this direction? Will it make covering video games more difficult when the audience is going to be potentially spread all over?
I don't know how it'd make it hard for us to cover a game, I guess, the way it's going. In fact, it'd probably just be easier for us to cover something with so many platforms you could play it on. I guess the only annoying thing would be listing like Blood on a review, like PS4 version reviewed on a PS5 or something like that.
Yeah, well, with like stuff like Stadia and Luma too, where like, it's like we'll throw it on there, and like, do we list this or not? What's funny is I have seen I think Chris Tales was one of them, to where like it's on Stadia too, but they didn't list it in the platforms on like fact sheets. They didn't bother.
Damn.
Gotta fight for that space now. Maybe it's better just to list what it's not available on forward.
For real.
But it is. I think the tricky thing is just that matter of like making some of those choices, right? Like Chris Tales is another example, or like, am I gonna play this on Switch or am I gonna play this on PC? And then like, okay, well at least there's demo, right? And then I could see the differences there with the demo, and obviously the final game could change, but it gives you an idea of where it's gonna go. It's like, yeah, the load times here and the resolution, and then the frame rate walking through this area, and it's like, all right, I'll do PC. As much as it would be nice to play that game on the road or whatever, it is. And I think World Ends With You is another one like that, where it's like, well, that'd be nice to have with me on the road, but probably wait for that PC version.
I think it's way too early to say that the new consoles have not had an input.
Way too early.
We're not even a year in.
Yeah,
way too early.
We're not even a year in, and
Yeah.
it's also things being impacted by COVID for so long that I think you're going to need at least 2 years, probably 3 years, to really get even like a proper temperature read on the new consoles and how effective they've been. So to say that they haven't had an impact yet, I just don't agree with, because I still think there's plenty of time for that to happen.
Yeah, I also think that the more concerted effort this time around to make things backwards compatible has made a big difference in that.
Right.
To where so much of my time with the PS5 is with PS4 games. And the Xbox, it feels like a seamless transition to where, and especially with all the things that both companies have done to enhance older games. It's like the impact is there, but it's just a lot more subtle.
Yep. Subtle.
Yeah, it's
That's the word that came to my mind
like
too, Blood.
phone releases.
Yeah, I was just thinking phone releases.
I mean, if it's going that direction, that's what's going to become, where the
the
hardware itself is like struggling to garner attention, but it's just a library. Everyone, just this broad library of software, and I think it's a question to point out. Like, I think it's better for consumers this way, but console manufacturers might, because you could tell Sony really wanted to be like, first party games are going to be exclusive to next gen, and they had to like backtrack on that, and you can tell they really wanted to do that because it emphasizes the importance of the new consoles, where hopefully this will maybe this will be the way. This is definitely better for everyone,
Right. But like, Flight Simulator isn't on Xbox One, right?
It is now. Or
And,
tomorrow.
But I mean, it's on Series X, but it's not on Xbox One.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't think Xbox One could do it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, I think Series X.
Next question comes in from James Davey. Hey, allies, I want to start by explaining that my favorite WWE segment is probably where The Rock plants Mr. McMahon's face right into Rikishi's backside.
That's cool.
Jerry Lawler's scream and JR shouting, "Thank God there is a God in this world." Secondly, I have to give my respects to Skyward Sword Skyloft theme. It is so powerfully resonant and elegant. I totally agree. Also, seeing as Huber loves horror games, then maybe Song of Horror might be his thing. Anyway, here are 10 rock/metal bands. Could you give me your quick thoughts on them? I'm aware of some of these you may not know at all, but let's see.
Is Song of War the one with multiple playable characters? It's like fixed cameras. Let me know.
I don't know.
Let me know in the chat. There's one I've had my eye on. I keep forgetting the name though.
So rock metal bands. First one, Creed.
Skip.
I don't. I don't.
just know the memes.
I don't like Creed.
It's so
personally.
funny.
I just know
Oh
the
my
memes.
gosh.
Not
That's
a fan.
it.
Not a fan. Not a
Would
fan.
would not choose to listen to Creed.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Alter Bridge. I've never listened to, so I have no
Alright,
opinion.
no.
Yeah.
N/A.
Yep.
Never heard.
Stained.
N/A.
Stain.
I'm not like totally in state, but not something I would choose to
Yeah,
listen to.
I wouldn't go out of my way for it.
Yep. Trust Company. I don't even know
Don't know
who
who
that
that
is.
is.
I don't know
N/A.
who that is. Mudvayne. So this is actually one on the list.
Dude, this band. This band.
I actually
know this
like
band.
Mudvayne, and I listened to Mudvayne recently. And would totally go to a Mudvayne show. I like Mudvayne. I wouldn't say like I'm crazy about him, but I
What
like him.
does a Mudvayne show look like?
They have
Depends.
Probably pretty
bright
chill.
colored hair,
What else?
Well,
some makeup, I guess.
oh, the
I just
makeup is
know I just
legendary.
know the one
Yeah.
video. That's it.
Yeah, I like Mudvayne. Seether.
Never heard. N/A.
I know that name, but I don't know this band.
The only song I really like from Seether is Broken because I love Amy Lee and I think she has an amazing voice. And I'm just pass on all the rest. No interest on all the rest.
Mm.
But I like that one song a lot.
Amy Lee, that Evanescence?
Yes, that's Evanescence.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Heard her interviewed on the radio yesterday, actually, or a couple days ago.
Amy Lee?
Yeah, it's really jolly.
She's fucking legit.
She's so
You
jolly.
listen to her and you're just like, A, you have a beautiful voice.
She was so jolly,
B,
dude.
you have like a wonderful personality. You seem like super
Yeah.
fun to chill with.
She
Yeah,
seemed
she's on.
really
Amy Lee,
cool.
you're invited to Frame Trap anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. You're
Straight
gonna be
up.
on the show.
Yeah,
She was talking about the Evanescence, the big,
Yeah.
the big one,
If
the
you
big
want.
song.
Yeah.
Obviously, that.
Is this
that
like all like 2000s bands? It sounds like early 2000s kind
It
of.
sounds like some of these I'm unfamiliar with. Saliva, I've never listened to.
N/A.
And Sick Puppies, I don't know anything
N/A.
about.
I don't know. Sick Puppies. No.
So. Okay, sorry. Feel like we didn't do a great job with that one.
Yeah.
But hey,
No, who said they didn't know Saliva?
Me.
Click, click, boom!
Oh my gosh.
no.
Top 5 movie trailer songs of the era, dude. Yes.
It's ranked by the number of times they've been used.
I mean, I'm probably.
Click, click, boom, dude. Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Classic. I don't care, dude. That's a classic.
Not the direction I thought those bands were going to be going. This list.
Click, click, boom versus
Yeah.
power for number of uses.
Metal is my favorite genre, but not.
I thought we were going to
A lot
have like
of those are
Megadeth
not-
pop up or.
Dude,
That,
I
that
could
was
talk
just the
about.
vibe I was getting.
I could talk about Megadeth. Dude, I'm seeing Megadeth in September.
Well,
They're still playing. Holy shit.
Yeah, they have a new album coming
Wow,
out. The
wow.
Sick, the Dying, and the Dead.
Wow.
All right. Anyway, next question. Sage Mode Q. Hey allies, this month my question involves advice on the newly announced Steam Deck. I've never been a PC gamer, and that boils down to a couple of reasons. Like, I suck at playing with mouse and keyboard. I've never had the space to set a whole big PC up. And also just the simple fact that building and maintaining a PC is very expensive. Now they've announced the Steam Deck, and I feel like it solves all those aforementioned problems. Would you recommend buying it for someone like me who's never been a PC gamer but really wants to try it? Is it worth it? Thanks for the help, allies, and respect. So I think the first thing to say is we haven't used it, so
Right.
it's impossible to be like, yes, buy this thing. But I think the price point is excellent, and I do think, on paper it does solve the problems that you are considering. So
Right.
yeah, it seems enticing.
I still think it's so specific. It's such a specific device because if you don't have a PC, to me the whole point of PC gaming is the power and the mouse, the keyboard, the setup. But if you if you have a PS5 or a Series X or in a Switch, I feel like that's what the Steam Deck to me is competing with is consoles. So I don't think it scratches like the PC gaming itch for me personally. But
I disagree because I think there are people that play PC games and exclusively play with controller. I think the thing that PC really has going for it, and a big reason why PC is my favorite platform, is I just love Steam so much. Like, there's so many things
what I was
about
gonna say, yep.
Steam
True, yeah,
that
true.
are great. And there's so many games that you could play that you don't need to worry about a mouse and keyboard at all if you really want to avoid that. That I think you could totally run on the Steam Deck.
Nice.
And at this point, the Steam library is just, it's basically limitless. Like, there's an infinite number of things that you can play on Steam. And so, I don't know. But it depends on what you're going for, right? It depends. Like, I think you can get into PC gaming for a bunch of different reasons. Some of those more specific than others. Where, like, if you're like, I really want to get into PC gaming for RTS, it's like, I don't want to play that with a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
just
can play
I mean,
Dota
you
2.
can still dock it and put a mouse and keyboard on
Right,
it,
that's
right?
true.
You know, like
That's
a-
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Good
gonna be
point,
able to
good
swap
point.
parts out of this thing? Because that's
No,
another
no,
benefit
that's
of
not
PC
something
gaming.
I
You
do.
you can add memory to
Okay.
it.
But like
Right.
another
The
big thing about
technical
PC gaming
answer
is the custom.
yes, but Valve will not support that type of stuff. So
Right.
you have to have the technical skill to basically.
'Cause I-
Right, I mean, you
I
could
brought
swap
that
parts
up.
out on a Switch if you wanted to,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I brought that up
that's
on
what
the
I meant.
podcast.
That's not being built
And that's
that way.
concerning.
Yeah.
Of just like, yo, when is this gonna be outdated? Like, you get a new graphics card every couple
That
years
is a
and add
good-
some RAM.
Yeah.
And
It's a good question,
But-
but I mean, it's not aiming to be like run things at the highest end. So as long as you can run things at like
Yeah.
its settings, it's probably good for at least this generation, I would guess.
The other thing about a Steam Deck is, unlike a Switch, which doesn't even have an internet browser, this is a PC. I mean, a lot of
Right.
things that you can do pretty much anything you can do on a PC, you can do here, like, more or less, right? It's a very open platform. And so I think just from a handheld perspective, having something that can play a lot of contemporary releases and a lot of indie games and things like that, as well as being an open platform on PC, right? Because I think that's really a huge selling point for the Steam Deck is it's not a closed platform. You don't have to just run Steam on it, right? You can put Epic Game Store on there. You can put Origin on there. You can put
Yeah.
other things on there that really give you a lot of value. You can put Game Pass on there.
Yeah. Well, but except the trick being that it's Steam OS, so then you kind of like mess around with the functionality of it to
Right.
replace with Windows.
Right.
So I do think that's definitely kind of either way, kind of a risky proposition. You know,
Sure.
you could probably use stuff like Google Docs really easily, but then if you want to use Microsoft products, it might be kind of a pain in the butt.
Man, just having like your Steam library already, just having it so you could access it anywhere is
Right.
pretty sick.
that
Yeah,
is good.
definitely.
That is really nice.
Definitely.
Quite a library.
But yeah, it's hard, I think, to give like a full
Yeah.
yes when we
Yeah,
haven't
We
used
haven't
it.
used it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm because they said like, oh, there's no game so far that we've tested that it can't handle, but I'm like,
Crisis.
yeah, but at what settings?
Stalker 2.
Right.
How does those
Stalker
games
2
actually look and
tested on
perform?
Steam Deck, blood. Digital Foundry. All 3 versions tested.
And if you do dock it, then what? Does it look blurry because
Yeah.
it's used? It's
Yeah.
it's made to be running at 720.
I didn't even know you could dock this thing.
Oh yeah.
Buy
Yeah, you can dock it.
one.
Yeah, they're gonna have their
buy
own
it,
dock,
you
but
need a
they're
monitor.
third-party docks that you can use.
Chill. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
I mean, I really do think though, the Steam Deck is a like potentially super exciting platform.
Totally.
I think it is a cool thing that Valve is doing, and I do think it can open up the market in an interesting way. And so like, I'm already heavily invested in PC gaming, but like I'm still excited to try this, and I'm even more excited for people who have never gotten into PC gaming for one reason or another.
Sure.
Yeah, and the price points compared to just a laptop,
Oh yeah,
it's
Yeah, you
it's
can't
kind
beat
of
it.
nuts.
yes.
Do you think
Man.
laptops will come down in price as a response to this, or not even move at all? They don't even give a shit.
I have
I
had
don't think
bad
so.
experiences.
I
with
think we'll
gaming.
most likely see
Me too.
copycats.
I did it once,
that
I'll never
work
do
like
it again.
garbage.
Yeah, like
There
I
already have been like machines
Yeah.
that
Like
have
a
come out that tried to be
couple
like the Switch, but like Switch Pro, quote unquote.
Right.
They just haven't gained any traction like Steam Deck has.
Mm.
Yeah.
Got the Valve name behind it.
Yeah. Flex it.
All right, next one comes in from Not Jack. When does a company cross the line for EZA? EZA isn't just an incredibly entertaining group of people who make fun content for patrons. They're also advertisers for sponsors and gaming companies. When companies give EZA free copies of the game, it's because they're getting way more value through advertising, even with the honest criticism you all provide. When stories like California versus Activision hit, do you think to cut off the free marketing? Ben hit the nail on the head with the uniqueness of this story. Activision's press release is a rare moment when a company abandoned the squeaky clean PR speak and actually showed its teeth in a surprisingly unapologetic way. That made me think that this is a unique opportunity for content creators to make a bit of a stand. Their podcast coverage was great and very thoughtful, but it was missing if EZA is going to change future coverage of Activision. For a group that often points out flaws of capitalism, this seems like a great moment for your small business to stand against a publicly traded behemoth. The question, is EZA going to give Activision less coverage? Is just expressing concern before discussions enough? So I have a lot of thoughts on this.
I do too, but I can let you go first.
Yeah. This will be a little long.
And Jones did talk about this on Cup of Jones as well, if anyone's missed that.
But I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I think it is worth pointing out. I think it's worth having a conversation about. I think it's worth being serious about and being honest about. So the thing is like, you have to be very, very, very careful in this kind of situation, because our editorial integrity is important to us, and part of that editorial integrity means not giving in when the mob is angry at something, or Twitter is angry at something, or Reset Era is angry at something. Like, if we're doing something, we're doing it because we believe we should do it, not because, people online are yelling to us about it. And that can take a bunch of different forms. But I do think it is important to take a stand. However, I feel like sometimes the all or nothing approach that people try to take really lacks nuance and really isn't always thought through as much as it could be. And I want to give you an example of two comments that I ran across. And I always think people are like trying to do their best or trying to do what's right or provide honest criticism. But there were two comments that really stuck out to me. And I think they're both with Blizzard. The first one was like, oh, Ben is criticizing Blizzard, but he bought Warcraft 3 Reforged. That's totally true. I did that. I supported them. I gave them money. But what that criticism left out, and I think really changes the tone of that comment, is that I bought Warcraft 3 Reforged and then aggressively criticized it on my podcast where thousands of people listened to it. That's a very different thing, right? Now, we could have taken a stand and we could have said, we're not going to cover it, for this reason or that reason. But silence isn't really, I don't think, the best answer. I think it's better, whether it's good or bad, to get out there and talk about it and to put these issues out there and wrestle with our feelings. And sometimes we do wrestle with our feelings. Sometimes we're not always sure how to feel, but I think it's better to get that on camera and talk about it than to just be silent. And the second comment that I want to highlight is somebody said they're criticizing Activision Blizzard, but they're saying they're still excited about Diablo 2 Resurrected. Absolutely. I'm extremely excited for Diablo 2 Resurrected. Let me tell you why. Vicarious Visions is primarily making Diablo 2 Resurrected, okay? They just did a great job remaking one of my favorite games of all time that I reviewed, Tony Hawk 1 and Tony Hawk 2. As far as I know, and this is a constantly evolving story, so maybe this is going to bite me in the ass, they didn't have anything to do with this. They're just people that work really hard that make a good product. So it doesn't feel entirely fair to lump in a lot of these specific allegations to this company that just got recently kind of like consumed by Blizzard, right? Like, there's some nuance there, right? I think sometimes just people see Blizzard slapped on something and they want to shut it down, and I get that impulse. But I do think it's important to look at these things like a little bit more closely and be like, well, like, what are we really doing here? What are we trying to accomplish? Like, what message do we really want to send? And so to me, like, that's honestly a different case. And the third thing that I want to bring up, and this is the one that I feel most passionately about, is my review of Cyberpunk 2077. Before the Cyberpunk 2077 review, there was a lot of concern about transphobia in the game. I went into that review very aware of that conversation that was going on, and it's a huge deal for me. When I had a Twitter, I would go off on transphobia. I've seen a lot of people say a lot of nasty things to Isla that are disgusting and frankly unacceptable. And if you say that shit, I will ban you immediately. I won't even think twice about it. That has no place here. But it was important to me that I played the game. It was important to me that I wasn't giving out somebody else's opinion. I was giving my own opinion. Very carefully considered opinion, but a real and honest opinion. Okay? I walked away from that game thinking that it was not transphobic. I am not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying when I put pen to paper, those were my thoughts. And that, to me, is a lot better than just regurgitating what a mob is saying, right? Like, I think people get so caught up in the outrage and the controversy, and they want to fight for what's right because things are so bad that they end up just kind of like firing from the hip with pretty reckless abandon. And I think a lot of productive conversation kind of gets washed away. And so the reason why I bring all of this up is I want to have those conversations, and I don't want to shut down those conversations from happening. I want to talk about Diablo 2 on Frame Trap. I want to review Diablo 2, but I want to review it within the context of what is going on currently. You know, and I think that is helpful. That's my opinion on it.
Well said, Ben.
Yeah.
Well said.
I guess kind of for me, where the kind of the place I want to start with, kind of like if you're going to have a main takeaway of anything, whereas some people, you know, like they look at this and they're like, well, why would you keep covering, you know, these games from these companies? And to me, just like the kind of the root of it is I would feel more uncomfortable not covering it, right? Like it's a conscience kind of a thing, and I have a lot of reasons, and I'll go through some of those reasons. But it's like my reasons aren't to give you an argument; they're not to have a debate and pick it apart. These are just things that like sort of support what just that gut instinct of like, no, I think that's still best to cover the good and the bad. You know, when Activision does something bad, we talk about it. When Activision does something good, we talk about it. I think that's just kind of how coverage goes. And I think like another one of my big thoughts is like, this is not like, yes, Activision Blizzard is in the spotlight today, but this is not just an Activision Blizzard problem. Mm-hmm. Like this is a problem we've been seeing in this industry for years, and it's crazy that it's like gotten to this point because Activision, like was it Carol Shaw, I think that the River Raid like just got like a lot of recognition, and it's like that was a woman at Activision like 30 something years ago, and now it's like a struggle to be a woman at Activision in certain parts of that company, and so it's like there's definitely like these dynamics that have happened and that have shifted over the years. And I think, yeah, that this is something that the industry has to work through and has to figure out, and it's a broader situation that next week we could find out about somebody else. Next week we would find out about somebody else, and so I don't think that just like trying to slap like good guy bad guy label on companies is going to work, because there's so many. We've talked about Ubisoft. We've talked about kind of weird situations with SNK. We've talked about with weird decisions that they made with Guilty Gear lately. Like there's all of these things where like all of these different things that you're uncomfortable with, decisions or problematic culture and things like that. And so I think and like with Konami, right? Like we heard all like horrifying stuff about Konami, but if they announced Silent Hill, we're all going to be excited for that, but we have no real reason to think that Konami has improved in any way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's very, very difficult on that.
Yeah, and Blood, to bounce off that point, and this is honestly a hard point to articulate, because like I do think it is important to be conscientious. I do think it is important to take a stand and to fight for what you believe in, and I do think it's on us to use our platform for good. And I think doing that is having these conversations and answering these questions and figuring it out. But I also think it is important and healthy to recognize your limitations. Like as furious as the Activision Blizzard stuff makes me, like I am not a prosecutor. I am not doing the investigation.
Yeah.
I'm not even reporting on that stuff. I'm not an investigative journalist, right? And I don't have the bandwidth to do that. Like, there's you have to make a stand. You have to fight for what you believe in. But like, I don't always like. I can't. They have to stop doing that. And like, it's great that Activision Blizzard, like, there's that petition from all the employees that are like, we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to do this.
So about us?
That's exactly the kind of thing that needs to happen. And that's where the responsibility should be. Is it should be on the company. This thing has to be rooted out, like, at the source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I've got a couple of more thoughts. Like Ben kind of alluded to, one of the things is, when I feel like in a way that when you kind of cut off, try to like blacklist a company, these companies are gigantic, right? Like, I feel like you're somehow like trying to like, you're punishing the victims along with the abusers.
Right.
As well as a bunch of people that aren't even aware, right?
Right.
So like, if just from my own personal experience, like when we worked at Viacom, Game Trailers was one floor of one building, and there was another building down the street, there was Paramount across town, there was Viacom in New York, and literally, if anything had happened at VH1 or Comedy Central or Paramount or MTV Games, we would have zero idea that it was going on. We really didn't know anything that was happening outside of our floor of our building. And so, yeah, I kind of, like, that definitely doesn't absolve leadership of any kind of responsibility. It doesn't absolve HR of any kind of responsibility. But I think there are a lot of people there, especially as we're seeing with this walkout happening tomorrow, that are furious that this is going on within their company, that has their values listed on plaques outside the building. And so I think it's, important to kind of look at what they're saying to do, look at what they're saying to support them, and they've listed some charities and things that I think you can check out that list and see if any of those speak to you, rather than, saying that, oh, we're just gonna, cut all of you off. But at the same time, I don't like begrudge anyone that's doing that, right? If you don't feel comfortable giving Blizzard money, if you don't feel comfortable watching Blizzard coverage, that's, that, again, it's like, that's your decision, that's your conscience, and I think that's, important to listen to and to go with. And then the last thing that I want to bring up is just the idea of, we're going to hold off until when? There's no measuring stick that I'm going to buy.
Because I fell into that trap with Ubisoft, Bloodworth. They apologized, like, we're gonna, make changes and everything. And it's like, okay, they're listening, they're making changes. Like, I'll play Assassin's Creed DLC. But it's like, when, how do we know?
Well, and it's so nebulous because then, a month later, you read a headline that's like,
more.
That's like, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. So it's like, what the hell?
And I know it's hard. Like, this stuff is just so pervasive and blood is on everyone's hands. But again, I think it's like important to question where the outrage is coming from, because it's like, are people just speaking up about this because it's like, this is happening right now? And it's like, we're going to play Pokemon Unite tonight on the group stream. 2 days ago, I saw a headline from Yahoo News that said Tencent is being fined for, like, child labor exploitation or something very sinister like that. It's like, Tencent is still a huge problem. Like, we're not talking about it in the same way that we were a year ago, kind of alluding to what you were saying about Konami, Bloodworth, and it fucking sucks. Like, this industry can fill you with so much passion and so much joy, and it's terrible that it seems like kind of the consequence of this is it's like the environments in which it is made are so like horrific, and I think reconciling that with that is really hard to do in a way that feels like morally okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, the people watching this, like, you didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't hurt these people. Like, you probably use video games just to, like, unwind after a long day at work. You know, and you're just trying to enjoy something that you love. And
It's way easier to boycott an individual. So, like, when all that Warren Ellis shit came out, I was like, okay, I'm just not going to watch Castlevania.
Yeah.
And, like, I know there's more people involved in the making of that, but it was still, like, he's the creator, he's the writer, he's the main guy on that. I don't want to watch it. Whereas, like you were saying about Vicarious Visions, like, making Diablo 2... that also feels like you're penalizing a lot of good people, like a lot of good people.
Right, and that was a decision that you made because you felt comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But you're not getting out there and being like,
exactly.
if you watch Castlevania Season 4, you're a piece
no.
of shit. Yeah, exactly.
I just withdrew.
Exactly.
It's like I watched Castlevania
It's a
Season
very
4.
yeah.
I loved it.
That's healthy.
But yeah, that guy was.
And
a
I
piece
think
of shit.
there's like a. You can come to those different conclusions and have there be like an equivalent amount of respect. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But again, going back to this idea of like when is it quote unquote supposedly okay, that's the thing. Like you're saying with Ubisoft, it's like, well, they did all these changes,
Yeah.
but like
He came out, he was like, yeah, we're going to change it.
but
Yeah.
that's the thing though, is like you could literally get rid of everybody that's had any kind of report right now, but then if the culture doesn't change and you replace them with people that are similar, then 2 years from now we still have the same issues, right?
Yeah.
So it's very, like, it has to be a cultural shift and a cultural change and a commitment over time. And so, like, when we hear things about, like, well, Ubisoft doesn't seem like they've changed that much, it's like, okay, well, is that true? Are they going back to the status quo? Or is this just something that, like, you have to keep pushing for it to change, or it will settle back into where people are comfortable? You know, or is it just something that, like, it takes time? Like, it's not going to change overnight. You're not going to know if there's really true, meaningful change until 3 years or so go by.
With companies this big and powerful, it feels like you need to tear it down and rebuild it, honestly. That's just my 2 cents. It's like too corrupt, dude. Money, money, money. Bottom line, money at the end of the day. And just like power. Money and power.
I do sympathize though, because I think like people are just so furious, rightfully so, and they just like so desperately want something to change that they're just kind of like trying to throw anything at a wall to see if it sticks. And I get that feeling, and I think that's like a fundamentally good feeling. But you know, sometimes I think that impulse can like become a little like overzealous and exacerbate the problem rather than like help it.
So, but yeah, I mean, I guess just kind of to wrap up my thoughts, like I guess it's just like, I think we all agree, like, on the problem.
100%.
And I think that's should be the focus on is like,
Yep.
we all agree that there's a problem. We all agree that there needs to be change made.
100%.
What we do with that and how the decisions that we make with that are going to vary.
Yep. Like, personally, I've already played Diablo 2 in earlier in my life, and just with all this, like, I probably will not be playing Diablo 2. I barely engage with Blizzard anymore as it is, and this is really, like, the final straw. Like, I used to love them as a company, so that would always draw me back into their games. But after hearing how toxic and disgusting a lot of this was, like, that means, like, okay, I don't even need to play your games anymore now. Like, I don't even want to associate with your company until there's, like you said, Blood, meaningful change. Whenever that is, whatever that looks like, I have no idea, but in the immediate, like, I don't have any reason to partake in anything that company does. Straight up.
All right.
Like, do people still play Overwatch?
Yes.
Yes.
People play a lot of games you don't think about.
Yeah.
All right, Brian from Happy Gaming. Hello again, allies. It's that time again. Let's play the Easy A dating game. Last
Here we
week-
go.
Transition.
Whiplash, right?
Great.
Last month we went through the characters of Street Fighter, and the fight was fair. Even with a few characters at her heels, Chun-Li from the Alpha series, Spinning Bird kicked the allies right into their hearts. Hell yeah, dude.
Chun-Li.
Dude, Alpha Chun-Li
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There was no other choice.
There's no other. Well, jury, rest in peace. This month we've got a bit of a hairy one we need to get out of the way. Hairy? Wait, maybe I'm thinking of a different word, because this month you need to choose which character from Sonic the Hedgehog universe EZA will date. Oh boy.
Shadow.
Out. Nope.
Shadow, dude.
We all know Sonic's gotta go fast, but maybe the allies like living in the fast lane. Rouge the Bat definitely has that dominatrix vampire vibe down, but we've plenty of bad boys to go around.
What
with
about
Knuckles
Nice Guy
and
Tails?
Shadow too. Maybe Robotnik will take you on a nice tour of his science lab.
No, he'll break you down for parts.
Actually, even after listening to the old game on Frame Trap with fake Sonic characters, I underestimated how many there actually are. Sally Acorn and Honey Cat seem nice. Sally Acorn is pretty awesome. Break out Google allies and find the Sonic character that makes you all want to lovingly escape the city together.
Tails,
Good reference
dude.
there.
Good guy Tails.
Tails was always my favorite growing up.
Tails is not a one-night stand. It's not a fling.
Okay, but
It's a lifelong partner. You are going to marry Tails.
everything that you're saying, like I really enjoy Tails as a character, but
Yeah.
I view him as like this little boy. So everything that you're saying makes me deeply
Inappropriate,
uncomfortable.
dude. It's older. This is the future. He was a kid.
I just
in
can't.
Genesis.
I'm sorry. It makes me uncomfortable.
Fucking
Sonic the
gross,
Hedgehog 2
dude.
came out 20 years ago. He's like 30-something now.
That's not how they portray him.
Oh my god.
It's not how they portray him.
Oh my god.
I don't want to pick any of them.
Yeah.
I hate them
Oh
all.
my gosh.
I don't know, like Sonic characters. Fuck, man, is there really like real humans in that shit?
Yeah.
Sonic
There-
versus
yeah, there actually are.
What are those
Yeah.
fucking idiots. They're all terrible. I hate them all.
Tails
Like
is the only
Shadow
answer.
sucks. Knuckles is alright, I guess. Like, who do you think is taller? Big the Cat's dumb.
They don't have ages you six like that's like what anime fans say in defense.
True.
Fuck that. No.
Oh boy.
I don't
Tails.
know.
Think about the romantic dates Tails could take you on.
Dude,
like
I
flying
don't
you
want
away.
to think about
Please
that. Yeah, stop.
So
Stop.
nice. Like, you want to talk about sunsets, dude. Flying with Tails?
Yeah, I would do it
Sick.
as a friend.
As a friend.
What about Eggman?
No, Eggman smells
No.
like eggs, dude.
Eggman is
That
like...
I wouldn't be
Eggman is
surprised.
a serial killer, dude. You're going over to his house and he's locking you in the basement and experimenting on you. No thanks.
Rouge is mentioned.
Yeah, Rouge mentioned.
I'm not into Rouge personally.
Yeah.
Who are you into?
There's a lot of weird characters.
I mean, I
out
like
there, too.
Sonic characters. I just don't think about
Who
them
are you
sexually.
into? Who would you
Who
marry?
are you into?
Who would you marry?
Spill
man?
it.
You know what? What's the
Silver,
No,
I knew it.
No, what's the armadillo's name?
Armadillo.
Yeah.
Armadillo.
Yeah. What's his name?
I'm gonna know it when
Who's
you
He's
say it.
that?
fucking sick. Mighty the Armadillo.
Mighty the what?
Mighty the Armadillo is sick.
Hell?
What?
Oh, is he from Mania?
the
He's
heck?
also from Knuckles Chaotix.
What the hell is Knuckles Chaotix? I don't even know what that
See?
is.
God damn it!
Well, what is it?
It's a Sonic game.
For what?
It just
For Sega
looks like
CD.
they put a thing
Oh,
over top of
Sega
Sonic's
CD, I
head.
missed that one.
Yeah,
I didn't have
He's
Sega
also in Sonic Mania Plus.
99% of people missed that.
CD. Yeah, I missed Sonic.
I did
missed
not
CD.
create that character right
This
now.
is Sonic.
You're all
This is
frauds.
Sonic in a costume.
I would.
Yeah,
I
it's
never
Sonic,
claimed
that's
to be a
what-
Sonic expert. In
Oh,
fact,
was it
I will never be one.
32X? Okay, it might have been 32X. Whatever.
Look
Fraud
at that.
detective.
Fraud.
Yeah, there you go.
Fraud
I'm the real
detective.
fraud. I'm the real fraud. But Mighty the Armadillo is my answer.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh,
Metal
this,
Sonic.
This picture's kind of freaking me out, dude. The Sonic GX
Get out of
Mighty
here,
is
dude.
kind of
You're
freaking me
you're
out.
going down a deep hole.
These finger guns that Mighty Armadillo's doing is making me feel bad.
You're going down a deep hole, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's like Sonic on its own is pretty fucking wholesome. I don't care what anyone says.
sure.
But then the fans make it
Weird.
super fucking weird that feels uncomfortable.
Chubby Sonic, best Sonic.
Dude, inflation Sonic.
Are Sonic furries like the lead furries? Like, does the
What
community
do you
like...
mean the lead furries?
Like, did furry...
What does that
furries-
concept mean?
Was the concept of furries, like, birthed out of Sonic the Hedgehog?
I'm pretty sure it existed long before Sonic the
Oh
Hedgehog.
my god.
Alright. I find things out from the allies and from chat. I ask questions.
Fucking hell.
Then everything makes sense.
Answers.
Next question. Please. What a talk.
Oh, that one was rough, man. All right, Brian from Happy Gaming. Hello again, allies. It's that time again. Let's play the Easy A dating. Oh no, we just did that. I'm so fucked up from that question. I can't even read shit anymore. All right, Alex AI. The whole Pixel remaster situation is still confusing to many people. Final Fantasy Pixel remaster situation is what we're referring to, who would be looking for information of any kind. So my question to the allies is, how do you plan to cover these remasters, if at all? Will multiple allies check out different Final Fantasies, or will it be done by one ally? Will you wait till all 6 are out, or will you do it piece by piece? P.S. I'm looking forward to checking out Final Fantasy V.
You definitely have the 3 top candidates in the room for this question. I feel like if anyone's going to play this, it's going to be Damiani, Ben, and or Brad.
Yeah, I really want to...
No offense, bud. I just don't see you
I really want to dig into these, but I'm so behind on games as it is that I'm hesitant. Like, I don't want to get out here in the Q&A because I am excited, but I don't want to sit here and say I'm gonna dive into it immediately. I have no idea if that's gonna be able to happen.
The only one I would buy at this moment is 5 because I haven't played it. But like you said, I don't know when I would get to it.
Yeah.
Right.
I am really looking forward to 3 because the only official version we got of 3 in North America was the DS version.
Right.
We never got the NES version officially, and they're doing it. So we're getting a 2D version of Final Fantasy 3 with the Pixel Perfect remasters, but they're totally redone 2D graphics. So it looks like a Super Nintendo game. So that's kind of intriguing to me.
Sure, yeah.
I'm curious in checking that out.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested in all of them. Probably most 4 to see
Yeah, it's your favorite of the classic.
4's awesome.
I'm with you, Ben, on 3, but I'm more interested in 3 because of 14. Because of how significant of an impact that 3's influence on 14 is, especially with the Shadowbringers storyline. I was like, I need to go play 3 thoroughly because there's a lot from 3 in this game. And I'm just missing out on the nostalgia here.
Yeah.
I do actually like 2, but I don't know if I need to play it again because I feel like I've played through it twice and I don't need to play it again. But my thing with these is these are only available on mobile. I don't want to play these on my phone. And I don't know if I necessarily want to play them on my PC on Steam. I was hoping for a Switch release of these so I could just play them wherever I want on a bigger screen than my phone. It's
I'm totally fine with Steam, but
yeah.
I don't know. To me, I
want to play them on the go.
It's weird because I would still as interesting as it is that they've kind of redone the sprites and everything. I'd still kind of want to play those original versions. I wish they would just include it. I wish they had the NES and Super NES versions as options with these remasters.
Chat yelling Steam Deck to Damiani. Play the mobile ports on Steam Deck.
I'm paying $500.
Or the Monster Boy and stuff, Ben, that you can do the little real time switch over.
That stuff is and honestly, I wish these. I'm also frustrated because I wish there was more going on with these versions of the game, and it's infuriating that they're not coming to consoles. But Damiani mentioned phone, and I'm with you. I'm not a big mobile gamer. I do it sometimes, but it's not something that I'm a particular advocate for. I'm kind of a boomer. I don't really like touch controls. It's not my thing. I make an exception and have gotten really comfortable with playing old school turn-based JRPGs on them.
Yeah, Dragon Quest. You're playing through those.
I played through all of Dragon Quest 1 on phone. I played all of Dragon Quest 2 on phone. I played a good chunk of Dragon Quest 3 on phone. I'm playing Final Fantasy 1 right now, just here and there on phone. And so it works pretty well. I totally understand if somebody's that's still not for me. I totally get it. But fuck it. I'm just gonna buy the PC and phone versions. Is what I'm saying. And I'm saying if you haven't tried it and you're wary of phone like I am, I think in this case you might kind of acclimate to it more than you think.
Yep, I played 1 and 2 extensively on
my
phone.
Yeah, I played 1 on my phone.
That's actually the only way I've played 2 through the completion. It was serviceable. I'll say about Skyward Sword HD controls. To me, it's that.
Yes.
I can get through it. I would not prefer to play that way the next time I play through these.
Damiani, when you say that the Final Fantasy 1 port is serviceable, that's totally on point. The controls aren't very good, and when you do put your finger on it, it's this giant D-pad that's way unnecessary, comes in and blocks everything, and the resolution isn't great. And so I'm I'm hoping that these new
Right.
versions on phone
Right.
are much better.
Which is kind of, it's funny because they're stretching them out to be the full widescreen, whereas if you just put a 4x3 version,
Dude, the
you
one
could
in-
have room on the sides for buttons.
1 and 2 I have on PSP. They were dank ports /
I love the PSP
remakes,
versions.
whatever. Those were so good.
I got those.
Those are super
Just
good.
visually, they're so good.
Yeah, I really like those.
Got bad text.
All right. Next question comes in from
Dank
Danky King.
horse.
Danky Kong.
Danky Kong.
Danky
nice.
Kang, excuse me.
Oh, okay, of course.
Bonjour, allies. I was recently thinking about my first console, the PS1, and about all the lesser-known games I found out about as a kid through my cousin's friends or through beloved demo discs.
10 out of 10.
There are
shout
a
out.
couple of games I was wondering if the allies were familiar with, and if you have any fond memories of them to share.
Love this.
I have all the games listed below, and as a Seeky side note, this is my formal request for you to stream any of them. Since I'm only allowed to submit 4, I guess I'll just have to stay sub for another month. Sorry, we gotta have rules. Love and respect, Danky Kang.
Dank.
Okay, so these, I haven't heard of any of these.
Wow.
Mm.
Uh-oh. Okay.
And that rarely happens.
They're all
what?
PS1?
Yeah, Silent Bomber.
Don't
I've
know.
heard the name of this, but I don't know off the top of my head what it is.
Project Horned Owl.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that sounds great. The next two also sound sick. The Unholy War.
Whoa. Yeah, don't know.
Ninja Shadow of Darkness.
Such a
Okay.
Brad title, dude.
I don't know it.
Why didn't you play that,
That's
Brad?
such a...
I never even heard of it.
It's
I've
such a
never-
90s
I've never-
title. We'll use Ninja. Ninja is the name of the game.
It's like the most Brad
Subtitle.
title I've ever heard in my life. One more time. Ninja what?
Ninja Shadow of Darkness.
Ninja Shadow of Darkness.
You know, that reminds me
Yo,
of our...
remake. What is
That reminds me...
Wishing Well-
Wishing Well of Darkness!
Yes.
It's our fake game.
Silent Bombers from Cyber Connect.
Yeah, some chat was saying
Before
that.
they were
That's
Cyber
right.
Holy
Connect 2.
shit.
They were just Cyber Connect 1.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any of them. Which makes me, like, kind of interested.
Yeah.
You know? The Unholy War is the one that... I just like that.
Unholy
I just like that name.
Megadeth?
Yeah, pretty much.
I knew
That
it.
might as
I
well
knew
be
it.
like
I
a...
knew it, yeah.
That might as well be like a Megadeth
You get
song.
Megadeth
Holy War's the Punch
sounding
Dude.
or Metallica sounding or any
Fucking-
metal band sounding. Ben's in.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
grew up with
That's right.
obviously NES and N64 and like PS1 here and there, but like it wasn't until PS2 when I had a high school job
Mhm, so you
that I
buy-
could just buy and play every single game.
Yep.
Dude,
So like those early like obviously NES, PS1, Genesis, like some holes, you know?
oh yeah, absolutely. Dude, one of the best experiences of my life is like, I was with my grandma and she was like, you can go to the game store and like pick out a game. And like, you know, the internet wasn't
The best.
a thing for me really
Dude,
at that point.
Grandma picks out let's
No.
pick out a game.
I went in there,
Oh.
I bought it because of the cover art. I bought Klonoa 1, and I was
Nice.
like, this game is so fucking sick. And it was.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sometimes it doesn't always work out though. Like sometimes, you
Sometimes
get to,
grandmas hook it up.
Yeah. Shout out.
Shout out, grandma.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Thanks for giving me my NES.
Her name is Shirley, which is like such a grandma name, you know?
Shout out.
Shout out. All right, next question comes in from Varun Kechwaha. I think I've realized something, that my pursuit to always win might have lessened my experience of gaming in general.
Say that
As-
again. I didn't hear that.
I think I've realized something, that my pursuit to always win might have lessened my experience of gaming in general. As an example, I'm the type to Google how to get the best ending for things. I rarely replay things, so I'd rather get the best possible ending. That makes sense. But the choices I will subsequently make following a guide will feel hollow. Sure. There are some choices in AC Valhalla and many other games I made because I was aiming for a specific ending. I'm torn. On one hand, knowing that I didn't get the best ending will annoy me. Doubly so if the ending I get is mediocre. Would feel like a waste of time. But then maybe actually just doing things as I would might make things more fulfilling. Is there a way to balance these things? How do you approach it? Do you get the same urges to just win?
I let it ride. I just played all the Mass Effect games. I'm playing Fire Emblem next. Permadeath. Let it ride. If I miss things, so be it. I love, like currently, my favorite thing in video games that I feel like are diminishing more and more as games go on are stakes. Real, lasting, meaningful stakes.
Mm-hmm.
So I just let it ride. So be it.
We talked about this on Frame Trap recently, but play how you want to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no wrong way.
Correct.
You will get endless internet comments trying to convince you otherwise. There isn't. Fuck them. But that being said, so like here you're focusing on the endings, and I get that urge. Like I also want to see the best ending. I understand, and like I get looking that stuff up. I think that's totally relatable. But I think you mentioned like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So that game is 900 hours long, right?
Yeah, I think it's 1,300 hours long.
Okay,
actually.
so 1,300 hours long.
No, yeah.
So let's say the ending lasts 45 minutes. That's only like slash 1,300 of your hours. So I think even if you don't get the best ending, I think if you just kind of let it ride, you'll enjoy the journey, which is way more time. So much more. I know endings mean a lot and are super impactful, but I think you'll walk away from the experience being more fulfilled if you are just kind of in the moment. Because the thing of like looking up guides, you're not in the game. Like you're like doing something and then you're checking the guide and then you're doing something and then you're checking the guide.
You're a machine.
You're not in the moment, and I think being in the moment for the game can really help.
I personally do both sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll use a guide for some parts of the game, and sometimes I won't. It just feels like it. I don't feel like I miss out on anything if I'm using a guide. It's just a different experience, and if I'm in the mood for that kind of experience at the time. So, I mean, just don't be afraid to experiment. Like, hey, maybe I'll try, this part. This quest line is kind of stressing me out for some reason. I really want to know.
Yeah.
But don't think you have to do it for the whole game.
Totally. One thing I did notice in Mass Effect 2, that I'm just saying that because it's recent, and video games in general, even like Assassin's Creed, I feel like my defense to get the good ending without looking anything up is to do all the quests, to do all the side quests. I feel like the more I do, the odds of getting that good ending are increased. Just like The Witcher 3, you help everyone out, and your odds of getting that good ending
I'm
rise.
with you.
Because then you're in the game, you're feeling it.
Totally.
And you're not, yeah.
I'm totally with you, and I think doing all the quests, I think that's like a good defense.
Yeah.
You know what my brain immediately goes to?
Huh.
Resident Evil Revelations 2. Where I got the bad ending. I got the bad ending, and I was like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. How did I get the bad ending?
That is the worst
So
example.
sometimes it can be a little obtuse, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, I think, man, like I'm all over the place with this.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of times where I'll play through games and I'm not going to look that stuff up until I get done with it and I'm like, all right, well, what were the other endings? What else could have happened? And then I just finished Resident Evil Village this weekend.
Yeah, you did.
And dude, the stupid red to blue on the map, like
All
held
blue
me
run.
hostage in that game.
All blue run, chat.
Oh, it held me hostage.
Because like I would be ready to move on and like, all right, the room's still red, and so they like searched the room several times and like, where the crap is it? And then like, if I couldn't find it, like, all right, at this point I'm just gonna look at the guide. But like I would not move on.
Yeah.
That room was blue.
Yeah.
I'm so mad.
That's so good.
I got like everything in Resident Evil Village, or not everything, but like a lot of stuff. But what sticks out to me is there were like just fish that I missed, and I couldn't go back and get them.
Yeah.
And I hate that feeling
There's
of like,
another gate that you have to go back to
Yeah.
a specific
Okay.
point that you can't get. Yeah.
Yeah, point
There's
of
a
no
couple
returns
things.
are the things
Yeah.
I look up. I
Sure.
don't like not being made aware of those, and especially in like long JRPGs.
Yeah.
You have to replay this game all the way from the beginning.
Yeah,
You wanna
that's
get it.
alright.
It's like, come on.
At least Mass Effect is like, each time in all of them, they're like, hey, once we do this, there's no looking back, Shepard. Are you ready? And it's like, okay, wait.
And Ben, the thing about the fish is I think the fish that you're talking about, you see them before you're taught about the whole food system.
yeah.
So there's just fish there. Like, oh, cool,
Right.
there's fish.
I ate it. I sold the fish, or ate the fish before
I
the
sold the
unlocked.
blue bird.
Yeah, Sam, the bluebird. The bluebird.
I
Yep.
sold the blue
Yep.
bird.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
The good
Yeah.
thing is that stuff carries over between
Yeah.
playthroughs, so like
Yeah.
you know where they are the next playthrough.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. It's pretty-
Sometimes I'll go into something knowing that it exists, and I'll decide ahead of time, like, oh, I want that. Like, I reviewed Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, and I was like, oh, I know there's a true demon ending. Like, I just want to see, like, what I have to do to get that.
Yeah.
And then like I would get stuck and I'd have to look something up, and I do that a lot where it's like I'm gonna try to be, if there's something specific that I want, I'll look it up. How do I get it? And then like if I get stuck, I'll look something up, but it's not like following a guide the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
And that can kind of be the best of both worlds, where you still have the satisfaction of exploration and overcoming something, but you're also not necessarily like aimlessly stuck for
Right.
a long period of time.
And as much as I wish I could find it on my own naturally, I just usually ask Brad, like, where's Castle Canehurst? Where's Painted World? Painted World, Canehurst Castle. Like, I wouldn't have probably found those. Like, just tell me, Brad.
Yeah,
How do I get there?
a good rule is like with some of that stuff, not everything. Like some things can be really obtuse, but it's like, all right, I'm gonna give it a try. Like I know I have to do this thing. I'm gonna try to give it a go, and then like it doesn't work, and you're like, okay, well I gave it the attempt. Like how do I do this?
Was there a secret place in Sekiro too? Like a Castle
Well,
Canehurst type?
You can get fucked on the endings.
The endings, but there's
Yeah.
no like secret location.
Not like that I could think of substantial
I
like
feel
that.
like there
There-
are, but
there
they're
are-
smaller.
There's smaller
Yes,
things.
Name
yes,
things.
yes.
But
yes,
like,
yes.
yeah,
Okay.
not like huge.
Not like
when I remember.
Canehurst
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
Because like, at the
I
same
didn't
point,
want to miss that shit.
you're right. Like if somebody was playing Bloodborne, it's like
Yeah.
there's so much of that game that I wouldn't want to spoil, but also I don't want you to miss Castle Canehurst. That is
Yeah.
legit, in an incredible game. That's one of the best parts. It's interesting because like I think I just stumbled into
I think
Castle
you
I
Canehurst.
did
did,
too,
dude.
for sure.
Yeah,
you did.
Because
I
I
remember,
was
yeah.
reviewing it. No one had
Yeah.
their hands on it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
reviewing it,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I was with Souls. I totally start out like going in pretty blind, and then there's some point like halfway or 2/3 of the way through where I just start getting curious. I just start wanting to look things up, and then you start getting down the rabbit hole. Like, oh, this is what happens with the endings, and you kind of like decide like what path you kind of want to go down. Cause like with a Souls game, there are a lot of times where you screw that up, then too bad.
Yeah, and like the question said about time, it's like, dude, I didn't know if I was gonna play Bloodborne more than once. Like, that's a hard game. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. So I get that fear of like, if I'm only gonna play this game once,
You want to see
you
it all.
definitely don't want to miss Castle Canehurst. So what do? That is a sticky situation. It's like, dang.
I think at the end of all of this, it's important to remember that games are meant to be enjoyed.
No doubt. Don't let them stress you out.
Yeah.
Don't let them stress you out.
Yeah, like I've had some really great experiences playing games with guides before, and I
Yeah.
don't regret
Absolutely,
it.
man.
It was really fun doing some of those
Totally.
games.
Back in the day,
Absolutely.
it was just like I would have guides before I'd had the game.
Well,
Yeah.
back in the day, part of the fun in buying guides, I had a shit ton of strategy guides back in the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
One,
Super Mario Brothers 3,
one
dude.
because they were
Majora's
useful, but
Mask
two,
strategy guide.
like I'm taking that in the minivan
Yeah,
and reading that
yeah,
shit.
That's what I had.
Yeah,
Pretty
I'm
essential
taking
for a
that
lot
in.
of people,
Get all those
yeah.
masks.
The game was designed for that.
Fuck the Final Fantasy IX guide though. That thing is
Play
a piece
online,
of shit.
yeah, it was garbage.
That thing is a piece
It
of
was
shit.
garbage.
All right, next question comes in from Michael Agnel. Hello, Easy Allies. What do you want to see on the next Sony State of Play?
Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy 16. I agree with you, Damian.
Someone in
That's
chat,
exactly
I don't know
what I
if
want
it's
to see.
true. They just said Square Enix confirmed it will not be at TGS.
They confirmed that. I saw Yoshi P talking about it a while ago, but this is Square
TGS
Enix
happening?
actually saying.
I didn't see a source though. I just saw someone in chat mention it,
Huh.
which would mean we're coming up on a year since it was unveiled, and it's like, wow.
Right.
What's going on?
Well, Yoshi P said he wanted to show it off again when it's like they could announce a release date.
16 is
kind of
40
thing.
years away. Just settle in.
40 years.
No.
So far away.
I don't think so.
It's
not,
not.
coming out next year. 2023.
I think
2023.
I think it's coming out next
No, I
year.
think it's
2023.
next year.
Ghostwire.
Ghostwire, yeah, I want to see more.
Ghostwire, yeah. Great
Ragnarok
call. Great
and
call.
factions only, please. That's all I need. That's all I want.
I think Ghostwire could be an interesting deep dive that doesn't spoil too much.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to really wrap your head around still with that game.
Their Twitter has been like semi-active with the delay too. They've been showing cool like gifs of
Nice.
so. But yeah, 16.
I want to see 16. I mean, okay, good call. Silent Hill, yes, but I've just said that so much and been so let down that
I think
like,
it's a given to me.
yeah. feeling a little bummed about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Silent Hill. Like if it's happening, Silent Hill more than anything.
Dude, Ragnarok and Factions, because like they've been announced for so long now, and we haven't even seen a screenshot of either.
Oh yeah, Factions is a great call.
Like that's why we just need that stuff. I'm so ready. Like my mind is racing now as more and more time goes on, and now that director's cuts are so trendy. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about the ambition of Factions. I mean, this is a huge time out from Last of Us Part 2, which it was originally supposed to be with. I mean, my head is racing at the ambition of this thing. Like, what is it really going to be? I think it's going to be way more than just a multiplayer mode. Just hope. I hope.
Man, the idea of a Death Stranding director's cut is so conceptually funny to me.
I know.
Like, I'm kind of stoked on it. 'Cause it's just so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just noticing this now. So I've been going to the skate park every day
Sick.
this week.
Whoa.
And my body is just not used to the sun.
Yeah.
Clearly. So I just look like a fucking cherry.
Nice, dude. Good work.
Just like so red. Like it's like classic like Midwestern farmer's tan vibe going on. Anyway, Ulf himself asks, "Hello, allies. If you had to choose 5 games in different genres to become an Olympic esport, which would you choose?" StarCraft,
StarCraft. Gotta have
Oh,
StarCraft.
yeah.
Gotta have CS.
Counter-Strike. Yep.
Gotta have it.
Hidden in plain
1.6
sight.
though.
What's up, down
Hidden
there?
in plain sight.
Hidden in
plain
Keep talking and nobody explodes.
Or-
VR one. It's a VR
Whoa.
genre.
There you go.
Yeah, you have to get a fighting game in there. But the problem really,
yeah.
which is like, what do you like? Okay, no, you know what you do? You do Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's what you do.
Nice.
What's the game we just played where you have to get to the end?
We just
Hidden in
said
Plain
that,
Sight, that's
yeah.
what it was.
Hidden in Plain
Yeah,
Sight
yeah.
is the name
Dude,
of
That
it.
was
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I think
That's right.
Among Us could be really funny if you put a bunch of people from different countries playing a game
Yeah.
where not everyone
DDR
maybe
is
speaks
really
the same
good, though.
language.
Oh, DDR.
Both of those are really good. Duck Hunt. I like Duck Hunt.
I don't know. I think there's a pretty thin
Or Super
skill
Turbo.
ceiling on that, probably.
Whatever the correct Street Fighter 2 is, to put that one in there.
I really like Miss Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would be
a
down.
lot.
I
Namco
would be
doesn't.
down on that.
Namco's like, that's the American game. Don't talk about that
What
again.
is it? We need a light gun.
Oh, Tetris would be amazing. I love that.
yeah,
I would
Tetris.
put that in there
Point
immediately.
blank, Damiani. Light gun game? That's
Yeah,
like the
we need a light gun
competitive
game.
one, dude. Showdown.
Can laser tag just be an Olympic sport?
Sure.
Street Fighter 30th Roulette would be a fun group stream to watch. It'd be a fun group stream to do. I had the suggestion. I've never vocalized it to chat before, but I was like, we should do a Street Fighter 1 stream someday.
Do we have?
I
could we play it
think I
easily?
might
Yeah,
have
it's on the 30th
before.
anyway.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. That game sucks.
That game sucks beyond belief.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
the thing too. Like even like emulating it is weird because when they're like pressure sensitive buttons, that was one of the problems with it.
Can you change
Yeah.
House of the Dead greater than Time Crisis to House of the Dead equals Time Crisis? They're both great. I will not take this Time Crisis slander, and I will not take the slander at the expense of either House of the Dead or Time Crisis. They are on equal footing. They're the pinnacle of arcade shooters. I won't have it here.
But who has better sequels?
Dude, House of the Dead 2 rules, Time Crisis 2 rules, and
But
then,
I'm talking about after that.
after that,
Time Crisis 3 is good.
Yeah, Time Crisis 3 is good.
It's not Time Crisis 2,
Of course.
but
Even House of the Dead 3 is fine.
Which one's? I don't remember House of the Dead 3.
I think there's
House of the
4D
Dead 3,
now. House of the Dead
3
4D.
came out on Xbox. But then you have House of the Dead Overkill.
Exactly,
crazy,
on
yeah.
consoles, 10 out of 10. I won't hear any slander for either. I refuse.
Man.
The things that can
House of the
set us
Dead
off,
Overkill
man.
going all out.
So
Production
good.
values on a Wii game. Yeah, man.
10 out of 10.
What was the Time Crisis spinoff where you're like the SWAT guy?
Yes! Crisis Zone.
That game was
Crisis
sick.
frickin' zone
That
in the
game
mall,
always
dude.
gets fucking forgotten, and
Yep.
it's so sick. Yes, Crisis Zone is sick.
Okay,
Shooting glass.
I'm gonna give the edge to Time Crisis, but this is a double-edged sword though, is because of the gun kick. I think
Yeah,
if
the
the
gun
gun
kick,
kick works properly, it's better. But if it's broken, it's
Big if.
devastating.
and the pedal, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pedal is so good.
Yeah.
So verdict on LA machine guns.
Is that the big gun? And you're like flying,
Yes.
right? Oh my god, dude. Damiani, I used to do double. What was that game called?
LA machine guns.
Oh my god,
What is your
dude.
opinion
Blast from the past.
on Carnival?
Loved it.
Carnival. I don't really
Loved
remember
it.
that much.
I don't think I've actually played it.
Yeah, obviously Virtua Cop, Lethal Enforcers, so many greats. Dude.
Yeah.
So many greats.
Area
We're just
51.
on a
Area
light
51.
cameras now. We're not even
I don't even
talking
think
about
Area
it.
51 is like a good game, but I
Yeah.
have super nostalgia
Nostalgia,
for it.
yeah.
Straight up. Silent Scope, of course.
Silent Scope is dope.
So fun.
We are getting way off
Yeah,
track.
sorry.
But I think we
I'm
put in
sorry.
enough Olympic
That's our specialty.
suggestions.
I think
Yes.
we need to nominate an Olympics video game.
What's the
esports
Aerosmith like in
Yeah.
Revolution X?
Yeah.
It should be StarCraft or Counter-Strike, honestly.
Uh,
Yeah, I think we got.
I really think
we got 5
DDR
solid
and
ones.
Tetris should
Yeah.
be in there.
Sure. Dude, DDR would be such a good
DDR
one.
would be so sick.
It would actually be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, like-
that is a physical activity. For
Yeah.
So I've been watching the Olympics skateboarding stuff.
Yo, so good.
And
Nice.
yeah,
Love
and
it.
like the skate part
Yep.
that they built is like amazing. Imagine like an Olympic built DDR
So sick.
station, you know? Like imagine
So
how
sick.
fucking extravagant that could be.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
love it. The skate park's so sick.
Yeah, it is. It's just really
just sad
gorgeous.
'cause there's
yeah.
not a lot of people
And they have
around,
names
like-
for like the rails, and so they're like,
Yeah.
oh, the Shogun rail.
Yeah,
This is the
dude.
steepest one.
So dope.
The Shogun
Yeah, the
rail.
Shogun
What
rail.
was the
shit.
PlayStation light gun called again?
The GunCon.
Yeah.
GunCon is what it was
To
called.
play
Yeah.
like Revolution X and Terminator Home. Yeah.
I
I had the
Remember the
Menacer
Sega
on
one?
Sega.
Menacer.
I did not have the Menacer. I had
Okay.
the GunCon 2. I got Time Crisis 2 for Christmas, and it came with the GunCon
Oh
2.
right, GunCon is the Bandai Namco. one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
had.
And like, don't get me wrong, it's sick. But when you're used to playing it in the arcade with the just the click and the pedal, you're like, oh, like this is
Because the
not
button was on the
replacing it.
gun, for mine at
That's
least.
right,
It was
the
like on
side.
the
Yeah.
side. So yeah, you'd push it.
And like you know, on console you just have infinite. It's the same problem with like some Metal Slugs. Is like when you have infinite continues, it just takes the fun out of it. Like
Right.
yeah. All
My
right.
quarters.
Next question comes in from Robert Lee. Hi all, what are some of your favorite movies, TV shows, games, or books that feature time travel? Tough question. My picks, his picks are pretty obvious. Back to the Future, Terminator 2, and Avengers Endgame. Do you have any obscure picks?
Time after time. It's in the 60s, and I was just talking about this on the podcast. It's Malcolm McDowell is H.G. Wells, and he uses a time machine to track down Jack the Ripper, because Jack the Ripper also takes a time machine. So he's chasing Jack the
Wow.
Ripper through time. It's a pretty light-hearted movie, but there's some drama in it as well. But
That sounds fun.
super fun, cool movie.
Star Trek 4, Voyage Home.
Yes. Love it.
And also classic, because the twist still holds up. Planet of the Apes. 'Cause you don't realize it. Yeah. Yeah. What did you do to this?
Speaking of my soul, dude. Speaking of my heart and soul. Love the original 5 Ape trilogy.
Yeah.
Also, the new trilogy. A chance to preach it. Don't skip the Apes trilogy, the newer ones.
I need to watch them.
The best summer
watch
blockbusters, minus MCU, of course,
You got
of the last
really
like
close to
10
my face
years.
on that one.
Dude, so good. War for the Apes. Oh my god. Rise of the Apes, Dawn of the Apes. Oh.
Chad's brought it up already, but yeah, I super love the OG Time Machine movie.
Oh.
Very, very cool. Very good.
Hell
Just
yeah.
sticks with you. Eloy and Morlocks. I was surprised because I remember one time talking when I think you guys did a Time Machine episode of Reaction Shots.
Yeah.
And Isla hadn't seen it, and like, what?
Yeah.
Have you not seen the Time Machine? I love it.
Classic.
And then, yeah, I'm also a big Outlander fan. I've read most of those books. It's not entirely time travel. It just breaks all the genres into pieces. But, yeah, and I'm trying to catch up on the series now. I watched the series when it first started, and then since we didn't have cable, we weren't watching for the past couple of seasons. But
Got it.
Yeah.
Chat Brothers 7, I wasn't even thinking about it, but they're totally right. Steins Gate is a really good time travel story that sticks with you. And then one that's not good, but I have a lot of fondness for it. It's a game no one's ever heard of called Time Commando. It was very, very, very early in my game playing days. It's PC and PS1, I believe. And what's cool about it is you travel through time, but like what you do changes depending on the era that you're in.
Dope.
And so like when you're in the prehistoric era, you're fighting like saber-toothed tigers with spears, if I remember correctly.
Sick.
And I believe there's like a mafia area where you're like using a Tommy gun. Like my memory is very vague, so I could be getting the details
Time
wrong.
splitters.
But I just thought that was cool, like the idea of like the game changing depending
That's
on
really cool.
the period that you're in.
Primer is the GOAT, obviously.
13 Sentinels, very good example as well.
Time Bandits I haven't seen since I was a kid, and I remember it just kind of freaking me out and not understanding it all, so I'd have to rewatch that.
Primer.
So good.
No one said Time Cop.
Someone said Time Cop was alright. I just rewatched Time Cop for no good reason. Hadn't seen it in 15 years. Holds up.
Okay.
Holds up. Loved it growing up
That's
as a
someone
kid.
here like loved it or something.
What's up?
That's someone here loved.
I love Time Cop. I love it. It really holds up to me. Really like it.
Dark Souls. Time travel.
True. True.
Dark Souls 2.
No, 1.
Next question comes in from Ryan Curtin. Do you ever see concept art and wish a game actually looked like that art? Not just in terms of concepts that didn't make the final cut, but something that actually looks like the art. The colors and details and uniqueness of it. Historically, we've had beautiful drawn art that is kind of squished and compressed into 2D pixels that kind of reflect the intention, or a 3D model with a palette swap that loses some of its charm and distinction. Love good pixel art, so no hate there. Sometimes I just see a sketchy piece of concept art or a beautiful abstract piece with incredible colors that just isn't translated in engine. Indies hit this mark more, but I would love to see big budget games do something really unique with their art. I often think of the concept art for Final Fantasy VI or the Akihiko Yoshida's work on Final Fantasy Tactics, and how cool it would be to actually see a game just look like that. Thoughts?
I think of the Twilight Princess concept art. I think it's like my favorite Zelda art of all time, but it doesn't quite look like that in game.
Yeah.
I don't think it translated as well. So if they could get it to actually look like that art, I would be in love with it.
Yeah, I think when people talk about like the older Final Fantasy games, like that's like the dream.
The mono.
If a game could actually look like the mono art. And then, you just played through Chrono Trigger, and it would be great for it to actually look like those illustrations.
Yeah.
Those illustrations are amazing.
Toriyama
it would.
man. I think fighting games suffer this a lot, where it's like, not that the in-game stuff looks bad, but some fighting game art is just so incredible. Like, there's really amazing Street Fighter 2, or not Street Fighter 2, just Street Fighter in general, the series art, that like I wish could be translated more to the actual fights. Darkstalkers is another one that kind of comes to mind. But a lot of them, I think there are a lot of fighters that you could apply that to. Somebody mentioned in chat, I think Metal Gear Solid, absolutely.
Yeah.
Metal Gear has amazing art.
definitely.
That would be very difficult, I think, to translate. But
he did, Shinkawa did a freaking Pacific Rim poster when the first one came out. So sick.
Dude, I think
so sick.
I think Shinkawa
Oh my
single-handedly got me excited for Left Alive, and that didn't work out.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, one last one. I just forget her first name. Ayami Kojima. She did
yeah.
a lot of the Castlevania art.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
Symphony of the Light, Symphony of the Night, Lament of Innocence, Curse of Darkness. Like her art is so damn good.
Oh,
Castlevania is such a great answer, bro.
the old school Zelda illustrations.
Yeah,
Yami.
like Zelda 1, stuff like that.
Yeah.
2, yeah. Even Link to the Past art's really sick.
I definitely think Sonic should become more pornographic, like a lot of the art that's out there. So
More in line with the fan base.
more in line
Oh,
with the
boy.
fan base. Yep.
Oh man, yeah, Epic Mickey.
The Epic Mickey concept
Like, nothing
concept
like
art
its
was so good.
Like, nothing
Oh
like
my
its concept
God.
art. Oh my god.
Yeah. Epic Mickey is a great answer. All right, next one comes in from Bruce McCants. Greetings, allies. The year is 1990. After successful input of the Konami code, my brother and I, ages 5 and 7, find ourselves kneeling 2 feet away from our living room TV in the final boss room of Contra on the NES. I, being younger and unseasoned, have long been dead. So my older brother carries the dreams of us both. I just imagine like you watching your brother play as a ghost. It's very funny. I watched in amazement as he puts on a razzle-dazzle display of hand-eye wizardry, dispatches the alien heart, and what's this? A cutscene. Credits. Games have credits at the end? Heart-pumping, mind-racing. I ran upstairs in a flash to explain to my mother that surely I had seen the end of all things. Ma, we beat the game. We beat the game. And then there were credits at the end, like a movie. She dismissed my excitement with a, "That's nice, hon," and went on about her business. She just didn't understand. It was epic. Do you remember the first time you ever rolled credits on a game? If so, when and what game?
It's probably Mario 3 for me. I'm gonna guess.
I have no
I
idea.
always think that's the first game I beat. We struggled hard on Mario 1 and 2, but 3 we could comfortably get to the end. And I don't know 100%.
One is legit hard.
Yeah. I don't know 100%, but the earliest memory I have of like any gaming at all is Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah,
So.
it's got to be either Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World. One of those two was probably it. Definitely remember the strolling home with the Yoshi's eggs. and
Yeah,
stuff.
great credits.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I had finished like any PC games, or even if they had that much in the way of credits. I'm sure there were some that I just don't really remember like a specific, but they're like the first like NES game was Mario Brothers 2, and that's a really cool credits roll.
I think my answer is really unfortunately anticlimactic because I remember like renting some shitty Disney Mickey game on my Genesis. Don't even remember what it was called, but it was like clearly meant for kids. It was like a Jack and the Beanstalk Mickey game, I think. And like I think you just did like mini games, but there was a story.
Oh.
But I read it and it took like legit 40 minutes to beat. Like it was super quick. Something that I was really proud of as a kid though is like Pokemon Red and Blue, not just finishing the game but completing the Pokédex.
Yeah,
like
sick.
hustling
Wow,
and like trading with friends and like being very active and social with it. Like that was cool.
I just remember the Beanstalk in Mickey Mania. It's one of
The
the later
Beanstalks
levels.
are pretty... I feel like those are in a lot of Mickey games when I think about it.
They look really good in that game.
I need to look
Bunch
up
of
what the
animated
game
shorts.
was.
Yeah, I love those.
Mickey Mania hype, dude. Shout out.
Roaring Buttocks asks, "Hi allies, if you could choose one stat to max out vitality, agility, luck, strength, which would it be and what would you do with it?"
Luck. Going to Vegas.
Yeah, that's
That's
a good one.
answer. That's a good answer.
Vitality, agility, luck.
Vitality. I wonder what that would...
I think I would do dexterity, because I think it would. I'm not a super coordinated person, so it would be nice, like being able to do things like play guitar and have it just be like super easy, or like skateboard, have it be super easy. So I think dexterity would be one.
Was intellect one of them?
Yeah, intellect's
I'll
a
take
stat.
intellect.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, intellect's a good stat to bump.
Yeah. Intellect's great. Vitality's interesting. Because
Vitality's
like in a
interesting.
video game, it's like a life bar. So like you're just thinking like, okay, does that just mean you get
You
old,
can take
but you don't
more
feel
damage.
old?
You'd be
Yeah.
healthier.
Dude, you could walk around and be like, "Hit me. I got HP to spare."
I'm gonna roll max crit. So I'll come with you. So you got the luck, but now I'm gonna place the big bets. We're gonna get like the biggest payoff.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Crit on
Max
payouts.
crit.
Luck and
payoffs.
crit combined.
I feel like you are bending the rules, but I like it. Maxing out strength would be fun.
Yeah, that would be sick.
But would you just be like a roided out freak?
Just a super soldier.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're super
So you're like,
soldier.
dude.
Cap.
Ryback.
Red Guardian
Right.
or something.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
All right. Last question comes from Detenchi. Greetings, allies. I was recently watching Shohei Ohtani highlights and got to wondering what positions would the allies play if they were to field a baseball team. Knowing nothing about your skills at baseball, I have no skills in baseball. I asked myself several questions. Do I put Blood on the mound and Damiani at home? I love this. Or should I pair Huber and Brad respectively in order to use their ESP-like connection? Who's on first? I ultimately settled on Blood at first, Jones at second, Huber at short, Ben at third, Brad on the mound, Damiani at home, Don in left field, Isla in center, and an easy significant other in right, or Bosman.
Who's catching?
That's what I think they mean by
Damiani at home.
That's
yeah.
home.
Okay,
Yeah.
They
okay.
mean catcher.
So I wonder
That's
how you would all place one
hilarious.
another on the field.
So
I
that's-
want to be in the battery with Brad. So if Brad's on the mound, I want to catch.
I was a first baseman and pitcher.
There it
in high
is.
school. So
Put Damiani at first.
yeah.
Sick.
I like to catch her a lot.
All right, then I'll pitch.
Yeah.
I just want to be in the battery with
I like
dude.
giving you the signs.
Cool.
Analyzing for you.
All right, I'm pitching.
I'll be in third base, sure. I don't care.
Dude, third base, the hot corner.
Dude,
hot corner,
Dude, you don't
man.
want to put me anywhere on the field. That's the real question.
Dude,
Outfield,
third base,
dude.
hot corner, man.
All right.
Who's our
Lot of
shortstop?
action.
I'll be the manager.
A lot of highlights.
Who's
I'll be
our
the manager.
shortstop, man? That's like important.
Short and third is like hardcore,
Yeah.
dude. Intense.
Yeah.
We don't,
Love
have,
it.
we don't have enough people. Put Dawn out there. There you go.
Center field and shortstop, man.
Yeah.
All-star spots.
So I just want to gonna give the question answer a yellow card. Nothing personal, but he has another question after this, and I
Oh.
kind of feel like this is two questions.
Oh,
So yellow card,
yellow
no
card.
big deal.
Watch it.
Just be aware for next time. Now for the question: what events
That's
would be in a Gamer Olympics? Do you think you could medal, and should it be open to professionals? And instead of separating it by weight class like in wrestling or judo, it'd be by age bracket, 12 and under, 13 to 29, and 30 plus. So this is kind of like the other question. Do you think you could medal? Absolutely not.
No.
Should it be open to professionals? Totally, yeah.
It's funny. I'll give you a quick anecdote. 15, 16, 17 years ago on the official Nintendo forums, there was a discussion that came up and eventually led to like Olympics and video games being Olympics.
Nintendo had an official forums?
Back
Oh,
in the
yeah.
day.
Holy shit,
And
man.
I said, like, dude, yeah, one day, like, video games should absolutely be in the Olympics. I remember the Nintendo staff mods there, like, let's not get into that. Video games aren't sports and stuff. And I was just like,
Times have changed.
I was like shut
Wow.
down so hard. I felt so
Late to the party as
sad.
usual,
I was
Nintendo.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Playing
never
catch up.
mind.
Yeah, always
It's
playing
alright.
catch up.
It's alright.
Guys, we have a new Switch coming out, and it's got an Ethernet port.
Yeah, wow.
Fucking hell, man. All right, that's it.
Yay!
Yeah.
The Tenchi didn't mean for you to answer the baseball question. No worries, man. I probably sounded harsher in that than I meant to. No worries. Just letting you know ahead of
Let's go.
time. I think the baseball thing was very good though, so it was fun to answer. Anyway, thank you to everybody who asked a question. If you want to ask a question, pick our brains on it. You can go to patreon.com/easyallies. It's a $20 and up tier. And thank you to Huber, Brad, Blood, and Damiani for being on the panel, answering the questions. This is a nice mix of serious and goofy, I feel like. And we'll be back in
About
an hour and a half to do the group stream. We're going to be doing 4-player Pokemon Unite. And, obviously we're the best League players in the world, so I imagine we'll very easily be the best Pokemon Unite players in the world. So
Number
look
one
forward
NA.
to that.
Yep.
Number one. I'm kidding. We're gonna
I'm not. We're the best.